In an age of skyrocketing divorce rates, is it really possible to make love last? Welcome to the Falling in Love Forever show with Doctors Barbara and Michael Grossman, the well-known relationship experts and best-selling authors of The Marriage Map book. Each week, they share the latest information to help you enjoy your romantic partnerships so you can fall in love forever. Here are your hosts, Doctors Barbara and Michael Grossman.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Grossman, anti-aging physician.
I'm Dr. Barbara Grossman, private practice in marriage, family, and child counseling.
We are thrilled to talk to you today about the most important factors in longevity, which integrate the kind of things that I do and the kind of things that my wife Barbara does. We are writing a book, Barbara and I, mostly written, called Ageless Love, the sexy science of falling in love forever. So what's the relationship between falling in love forever and longevity? The answer is really very dramatic and very surprising. You want to tell us about the research, Barbara?
Yeah, I've been following George Vaillant's grant study at Harvard University for about 40 years. And now it's an 80-year-long study, which he reviewed and connected with Harvard men. At the time, Harvard was basically a men's college, and an equal number of people in the Boston community that had varied racial and financial means. And he'd been interviewing and checking with families and evaluating medical data on these subjects. And what he discovered, and again, the directorship has moved on to another director, so it's 80 years is a long time, lots of data, and they discovered the key factor in longevity was satisfaction in relationships. It had nothing to do with IQ, nothing to do with race, nothing to do with income. It was the quality of connection in personal relationships.
So that is quite a dramatic thing when you go to your doctor and you want to live longer, be healthier. They don't spend a lot of time asking how your personal relationship's doing. How's your marriage doing? But they should, because that's the most important factor. How can you overlook that? So what Barbara and I work on regularly is to create courses and classes and support individuals having deep, fulfilling, romantic relationships, because that is the most intimate relationship you'll ever have. And how to make it work over a lifetime is so connected to longevity. So let's look at what it takes to have a fulfilling relationship over a lifetime.
Well,
Why don't you look at the spiral?
so one of the things we use to help couples understand how relationship changes over time is we present the developmental cycles of men and women, how different they are. By development, I mean the shift in focus and values and interests over time. There's definitely a change for men early on when they develop their career. If a woman has a career and isn't and no children, her pathway looks the same as a man's. If a woman has children, however, she becomes more a caretaker, and so that imbalances the relationship because it's no longer totally about adult things or common peer things in the couple. And we go on to each layer as life moves forward. As you develop in your competence in your career, you become very individualized, very frankly self-centered. And that's a time that's critical for couples because they can get into conflicts that really don't need to be conflicts if they have additional skills. And so we help couples gaining skills so that they can maintain two points of view in conversations where formerly it would have been uncomfortable or testy. And so that's one of the key learning we we invite people to understand so that they don't take conflict so personally, and they learn how to talk together about important things.
So to go into this into some more clarification, when you first fall in love in your 20s, you're going to just want to be together and love each other, and it's so lovely, so nice, and you're in love. And then after 5 or 10 years, it kind of wears off a bit. And then you're left experiencing a different kind of thing happening. You begin to feel some distance from your romantic partner. And you begin to move into another phase of life at the same time, as Dr. Barber describes. You start moving out of the phase of just being totally connected to your romantic partner to wanting more space, to wanting to do your own thing more. And that's an inevitable thing. That's part of the development of a human being. It's going to happen that way. And once you understand that big picture, then you don't get so upset that, oh, well, it's not working out with my partner now because I'm feeling differently. No, it's going to happen. It's just the nature of human beings to develop in a certain way. And this development, you move from your 20s into your 30s or early 40s, you start feeling the need for more independence, more, you want to have your own space to accomplish and achieve, and you don't want so much of just connection. That happens. So when you see the big picture that that's going to happen, and then you're going to go back to feeling more connected again over time, like 5 or 10 years later. So once you see that big picture, it opens up that in your own mind that this is okay. This is not like a bad thing that's happening. This is like some inevitable change that happens to people. So that's a big part of understanding relationships. And we teach that in our courses and classes. And we've written some books about our book, The Marriage Map, The Road to Transforming a Marriage from Ordeal to Adventure. That talks about that, the big picture of how relationship changes over a lifetime. Now, to deal with these changes, Dr. Barber described that you've got to have certain skills. And these skills are very, very necessary skills to deal with these inevitable changes that happen over a lifetime. To stay in love over a lifetime, you've got to be able to move with the changes and grow with the changes, and not to feel like, oh, it's got to be this way. It shouldn't be that way. So we have at least 3 ideas that we can share with you today for what these skills are that you need to have to make a relationship romantically last for a lifetime. Skill number 1, would you like to talk about if you're not listening?
All right, so there's some concepts we talk about, just like this idea of how we don't stay the same over our adult life. There's many chapters in adult life that make us different. There's another concept we talk about with our couples about how it's important to maintain stability as well as mystery. And so we have these ideas that we then want to make real. And it's all of these great concepts are supported by skills where you learn to be open, authentic, and sharing your thoughts and feelings. Where you know how to ask for the behaviors that make you feel respected or appreciated. You need to be able to translate a strong feeling into what will work for you in this moment. There's lots and lots of skills that make these principles come to life, so that you really know how to move with a relationship and connect and make the connection sweet. We want that for you. That invigorates you. It's so healthy for you to feel connected and to feel understood and to be okay with your differences and feel respected with your differences. That just, it has a soothing effect to your whole nervous system. It's so important.
So to make that happen, we can talk about the first skill, which is if you're not listening to your partner without interrupting them, then you're not really listening. That means when your partner has some upsets or concerns, your job is not to convince them that you're right and they're wrong. Your job is to listen to them to hear their point of view and to let your partner know that you care about how they see the world and how they feel about it. In order to do that, you've got to be a good listener. You've got to listen. You've got to spend a minute or two really listening, not trying to convince them, not interrupting them and saying, well, you shouldn't feel that way. No, you just listen to them. That's so important to keep that intimate connection going with your partner so that they can feel like you really care about them. So, skill number 2 we can talk about. Skill number 2, we can talk about number 2 is don't expect your partner to naturally and intuitively, automatically know what you want. So what that means is that you and your partner are different. And in the beginning, your partner just seems to know what you want and just asks you what makes you happy and so on. But after a while, she thinks she knows what makes you happy. But you're changing, they're changing, and then it doesn't work so well anymore. Your partner doesn't automatically know what you want. You need to be able to express to your partner what to do. And if you just keep getting upset at your partner because they're not knowing what you want, that's a big problem. You've got to be able to share with your partner what's making you happy and what's not making you happy without blaming and making it to a big upset. But just let them know, hey, I didn't know that you wanted that way. Oh, geez. And that's really important.
It's a real skill to be able to say what will work for you in this moment. Sometimes the partner doesn't even know themselves; they just know what doesn't work. So it's an individual project to look inside and discover what it is that would make life work for you in this situation, and then express it.
So, an example that we will use in some of our classes and courses. We talk about, Barbara asked me to fix the carpet in the bedroom and to move a telephone wire, when telephones still have wires, to put it under the carpet so it looks better. So I spend a few hours picking up the carpet, pushing it down, tacking it down. Then after I'm finished, I ask Barbara, I say, oh, well, how's it going? She looks at it and says, well, let's get someone who really knows how to do this. A little wrinkly in there. And so for me, it was terribly deflating. I worked so hard at that. And guys are so sensitive about their performance when they're doing something for their lady. And the ladies wouldn't get so upset about that. It's no big deal. Get someone else to do it. For her, it was no big deal. But for me, it is a big deal. And so it's important that you be communicating with each other so that you can get to understand what really does make your partner happy and not, so that you can change your behaviors and make it work and begin to build up your partner. Because guys love to be told by their ladies how great they are for doing this and that. They love it.
Yeah, that's a big lesson for me. I learned to appreciate Michael's effort, whether I like the outcome or not, and make a big deal out of his wanting to make me happy. And then later on saying, I'd like a professional to come in and look at the carpet and see if it could make it more attractive. But that part was soft pedal. The main feature is to appreciate Michael's desire and effort to make me happy. That was beautiful.
And there are other things we could think about that we have to be making requests of each other. And if you think that in your relationship that you kind of understand each other completely and you know what each other likes and wants and so on, that's also a problem, because then you miss all the changes that occur in your partner. You want to have that fresh, open look and really be able to know what's making your partner happy and not. And it takes sharing with each other on a regular basis, making sure that you're really in touch with what makes your partner happy and what doesn't make them happy. And it's going to be changing over time. So it's very important to have that ability to communicate in that way where you're really listening to each other and understanding each other.
So we make a big effort to talk about changes. They're inevitable. And we do that, first of all, so that you understand when it occurs, there's nothing wrong. We also want you to know that if you were both to stay the same over 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that would be boring. And that continuously evolving as people do over a thoughtful lifetime actually continues to create mystery and excitement in a relationship. So you want to know the value of this ongoing evolution. It's a really good thing, and it keeps things kind of on the edge, kind of exciting, and over time you will learn how to support each other in your evolution, so that really being in partnership is like an advanced course in personal development, and it can be just the most satisfying accomplishment of a lifetime, and it serves your children and it serves our society. So we want that for you.
So we want to leave you with the idea that to create romantic partnership over a lifetime takes skills, and it takes a vision of what relationship can be. So romantic relationship needs to have that component of mystery as well as security. You want to have security to know that things are being taken care of, the finances and the home you live in. But you also need to have mystery, because that's what creates romance. Without mystery, things get boring, and then you start looking in other places for romance. You want it to be right in your relationship. So give each other that opportunity to have your differences. You don't agree on everything. You want to have mystery. You don't want to think you totally understand them. You want to learn to listen to each other. And you constantly make little requests of each other of things that would really make you happy. So we encourage you to work on your romantic relationships. They're always changing over the years. And don't get thinking that you understand everything about your partner, because that will take away the mystery. So with that, we're going to leave you, and we're going to invite you to read our book, Ageless Love. Go to our website, themarriagemap.com, and look at these new courses and classes we're going to have available for you.
Can I add that the book also includes really leading edge information about how to stay young well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. You want to have the energy and vitality for love. It's a whole other area that needs our attention. We want to be able to deliver on our on the promise of true love by having the ability to do things and go places and enjoy each other.
Thanks so much. Pleasure being with you.
Wishing you love.
Thank you for watching the Falling in Love Forever show with Doctors Barbara and Michael Grossman. Join us next week for another informative discussion to help you keep your love alive. Be sure to visit us at themarriagemap.com or find out about our relationship classes at fallinginloveforever.com.